I studied architecture in London in '94 with Mike Paradinas, µ-ZIQ, and he was a good friend of mine, really great electronic musician, recorded with Aphex Twin. In fact, Aphex Twin was on the same campus as us when I was at college, so. And London was really good in '94. It was when jungle and drum and bass first really started, so it was a great time to be there, and that was my genesis. And I shared an apartment with Mike Paradinas, so I would borrow his equipment whenever he wasn't there, and yeah, so that's how I started really. Casio sampler always interested me, like manipulating sound that way. Less synthesis, but I got into synthesis later on in my career, I guess, and the principles of synthesis and things like that. But my first proper computer was one of the first G3 Macintoshes, and I used it to make geometry, like my last album on that. It's a very digital album. It's all done on the Macintosh, no synthesizers. Planet µ at the moment. It's run by µ-ZIQ, and hopefully the next album will be out at the end of this year, but it's been a long time coming. Yeah, it's a great label, you know, apparently doing really well right now. The distribution's really good. It's like better than, according to Mike Paradinas, it's better than Warp right now. The sales are as good as Warp's and Reflex and people like that, which is great. Because I had the first release on the label, and that was probably like 7 years ago. It was a long time ago.
On Planet µ?
Yeah, and now it's matured so much. I played a concert last night with loads of Planet µ artists, and it was capacity, and there were queues around the block. It was incredible, and it really felt like electronic music had come of age. And it's interesting. I think more people than ever are listening to electronic music now, but because of MP3s, they're also downloading it all, and vinyl is diminishing as well. So the avenues to sell music are diminishing, but electronic music is proliferating, definitely. A great part of my life right now is design and 3D design and 3D animation, things like that. And I find working with that also helps my music. They're both very similar disciplines, both very creative. They involve sequencing and animation, synthesis and modeling, like forming something from nothing, you know. I have like cultural, like a very unique starting point, but it's not necessarily Indian, you know. It's more of being brown in a European white country, you know. My whole upbringing's really white, and that can be very interesting and unique. It definitely made me feel like the outsider a little bit throughout my life, you know. And I often felt like I had to excel at everything I did to succeed, like just go a bit further than people I was with, you know, my contemporaries maybe. But that's given me an attitude now where I really drive myself to achieve things all the time. And I think if you're succeeding as a human, whoever you are and whatever your background is, if you're happy, then you're doing it right. And that should be everyone's aim, really. Doesn't matter where you're from, isn't it? So, I don't work with the audience, and I don't try and sell my music, really. That's so much easier. It makes it easier to make music if you avoid trying to make music for your audience and avoid trying to make money from your music. Then all of a sudden it becomes very easy to be a musician. Just please yourself, and you'd be like an artist, really, you know. Any artist should be that driven that way, I think. I'd never claim to do that, but I can make people think. My music is not repetitive. I hope it provokes people into thinking a little bit, being unconventional. Yeah, that's my aim with my music, is to provoke thought. Same with my animation as well. In fact, not even to provoke thought. I really think having an imagination is the most powerful thing, and it's something it's frowned upon a lot in the West. There's no real use for an imagination in the West at all, and it's so important. Like, how the hell is civilization going to improve if we cannot imagine how good it could be? Like, where are we going to go with it? Who's telling us what to do next? It's just run by corporations right now for profit, and like, someone has to have an imagination about how good it could be if it went right, if we did the right things, you know. The album I'm working on is called Variants, and that describes that. I don't like just one thing. I'm not polarized. I'm not set in stone. I like different things on different days. When I'm in a different mood, I like hearing different stuff, you know. Sometimes I don't even want to listen to music, you know. So I have no fixed viewpoint on it. I'm lucky, like I have an amazing partner, girlfriend. I'm living in Venice, which is a gorgeous place. So when I want to go for a walk for inspiration, I can walk to the beach. I can smell sea air, you know. Yeah, it's a nice life. I enjoy it. I think it's interesting that religion is having an increasing role in the world, but it's such a dysfunctional thing, really. And it's so strange in these times for religion to be taking such a huge play in everyone's lives. I think religion's like the bane of mankind, and I think the sooner we get over it, the better, I think. And use our brains to kind of reason, you know, that's what they're for, you know. I don't know, politics doesn't seem to be very, I don't know, it's not a viable outlet for our generation, politics. It doesn't represent us, you know. It's very abstract. It represents corporations better than it represents people.